I thought we left the kings behind. We're about to celebrate 4th of July in about a month or so. And I thought in America there were no kings. There has to be checks and balances. And it is just feeling like the Supreme Court is like abdicating the duty altogether. Here's my thing, Dr. Greer. Yesterday, people had their popcorn, honey. They were placed on X. They were watching as, you know, the girls were fighting, as the besties broke up, and we were in the middle. Meanwhile, you had a lot of Democrats being like, ooh, Elon, get him, ooh, get him. Why aren't they asking the questions about the data?
Right.
Why aren't they asking these questions? Why are we not using, and the Democrats and Congress specifically should be using this time to say, hey, Republicans that want to be on the good side of the president, why don't you go over here and help us subpoena Elon Musk?
Right.
Why don't you help us find some answers? It kind of feels like a missed opportunity.
It definitely is a missed opportunity. I think, so when there are a few things going on, I think so many Americans are feeling so beaten down by the abrasive nature of this particular administration, just bulldozing over our rights and freedoms and our opinions. For some people, it was comic relief, but it also just felt like, Schadenfreude, everyone's like, grab your bonnet and your nail polish and like, let's just sit here and watch these, the Drake versus Drake beef. But on the other hand, as you clearly lay out, this is actually, it would be funny if we weren't a part of it as well. And so it is incumbent upon Democrats. We know that Donald Trump needs to be flattered. We know that, you need to tell him that he's pretty and that his drawings are nice with his magic marker. And so this is a time for Democrats to strategize with their Republican colleagues because the president is distracted. We knew that Elon Musk and Donald Trump would break up at some point in time. And we knew that it would be a very public feud with two very powerful men, but one is the world's richest man. So he does have a lot of cards to play. However, Donald Trump, as president of the United States, also has his own cards. And so this is a time for Republicans to work with Democrats to not constantly abdicate their own power, but to say this is an opportunity to present the president with some options, because Elon Musk is not the winner in this. He's not on the side of the American people in this feud, and we can't ever think that that's the case. I just think that for a lot of Americans, it was so nice to see someone stand up to the president, and that was the excitement that I think social media expressed in a lot of ways. But Elon Musk has not been on the side of the American people in a lot of his policies and a lot of the ways that he's managed Doge. And so I really, as we talk about the separation of powers and checks and balances and what is so clearly laid out in Federalist 51, I'm hoping that Congress will get themselves together, especially Democrats and especially Republicans, who seem to have just decided that they are from the party of Trump and do not want to ever think about themselves as representatives of the American people. They don't represent Donald Trump. They represent the 330 million Americans that rely on them to make hard decisions in Washington, D.C. when we're not there.
So, McKenna, we keep throwing around the word data. I just want to be specific. We're talking about Social Security numbers, medical records, tax and banking information. Once that data is out there, is there any way to wrangle it back?
No. Like we were discussing earlier, putting all of your eggs in one basket means that a threat actor, whether that's China or Russia or whoever, really just needs to get maybe one person's laptop, right, who has all of these permissions, or find one vulnerability in the system, and all of a sudden they have all of this information on all of us. When we, submit a W-2, we have to write, who our next of kin, who our spouses are, our social security numbers, our addresses. All of this is kept in these government systems, and we hand it over to the government in expecting services, expecting social security benefits, expecting a whole handful of things. And in return, right, we're allowing them access to our data, expecting them to keep it safe. And at this point, there's a lot of folks with a lot of hands in all of these systems, many of them who are unexperienced engineers, many of them 19 years old, early 20s with no experience in government. And so we're giving our privacy over to these young folks. And now with the Supreme Court decision, they have more access than ever before.